Okay, let's say you want to read from a file and write into a file. So let me just make a file here, and you can use any simple word processing program. So I'm going to use, let me see what I have on the Mac here. Might be EE Edit. Let me just see if I have that here. I'm just looking for any word processing program. Oh, BB Edit. I mean, I'm sorry, what did I say? BB Edit. That's just a basic like notepad if you are using a Windows machine. And let's say we have some students in the class. I'm going to create something like these are the name of the students. And let's say that's the average for the course. My average was 50. I didn't do well. I'll put my family there. That's my wife. And let's say she got a 78. Better than me. Put my son. And let's say Joe has a 92. He's sharp. He's at MIT. So I figured he must be smart. And I'll put my daughter. Up. She's really sharp. She graduated from Yale. So she had a 96. And let's say this is my file here. I need to save it. So File, Save As. And I'll give this a name, basic name. Notice it's going to save it as text. You can save it .txt or .dat. I'm going to call it Family. Save. So, and I didn't tell the machine actually where to save it to. So let me just pick up, resave it. Let's see where it's saving it to. I'm not sure where it's saving it. So I'll put it on the desktop for now. So Family. So I should be able to spot it quickly. If I look on my desktop, I should see a family somewhere here. .txt. Oh, right here, I see it. So if I close this, I see it down here. I get the first name, then the last name, then the average. Good. So now let me begin my Xcode. I think I have the Xcode open. And I start a folder, call it January 31st. So let me put that file there. Here's the beginning of the file. So this one is about reading and writing. So reading, reading from a file. And writing to a file. I'll make them two different files here. We're going to read from one file and write to another one. Okay. So if you're going to read from a file or write to a file, you want to include, #include, anytime you're dealing with files. Fstream, which is file streaming. Fstream. And this one doesn't do that, but I got to write using namespace std. So I don't have to write any of that gibberish stuff there. And let's say I want to read the names from the file and print them out just to make sure I can read them from the file. I just want to test it. So here we go. This section, read from the file. So to read from a file, you have to use ifstream, input file stream. And you have to give the file a name. I know when I save the file, I call it family, but this is the family.txt is the formal name. Basically, I'm going to give it a nickname. So I'm going to call it here, I don't know, input. So this is for input. I'm going to give it the name input. I can call it cat, I can call it dog, I can call it Ziggy, whatever you want to call it. And now I'm going to tell the machine the word input here, dot open a file. Which file? And the file I'm going to open, it is family, double quotation here, family.txt. Open the file, family.txt. And I'm going to read the first name, which is a string. I'm going to read the last name, which is a string. So let me do that. String, F name for first name, and comma, L name for last name. And there's also what? My average. So that's an integer value. I put them all decimal, no decimal values in them. AVG. So I'm going to go and read them from the file. Normally when you read something, you go CN. That means read. But here, I'm going to read from the file. I'm going to use the file name, input. That says, get them from the file called input. Get what? Get first name. Get last name. And get AVG. So the first thing you're going to read is going to go in location called first name. The second one in location last name. The next one is going to go in location called AVG. That's only going to read the first line. If I have more than one line, I have to use actually a loop there. Now we didn't cover loops here, so I'm only going to read the first line. I think when you get to this video, I'm not sure if we covered loops or not yet. So since I have 4 of them, if we didn't cover loop, I can set up a loop here to repeat that 4 times. I can say do, or 4, since I know exactly 4 times, for int I equals to 1, start with 1, I is less than or equal to 4, I plus plus, curly bracket, read from the file, and let me just write them to the desktop, write them to the screen so I get to see them. See out. I'm going to write them differently. I want to write last name first. Oh, I think capital N here. Then put a comma after the last name. Well, since it's a single comma, well, I'm going to put a comma and a space, not just a comma. So I can put the first name after that. If it was just a single comma with no space, I can use single quotations. That's a character. So use first name, put a space, and say, I want you to write your average is, and now let's put the average. AVG. Then go to the next line. And L. And close that. So this will allow me to go through the loop and do it 4 times. Again, I just don't recall because I'm making the video now a week later. If we covered by that time, what did I call average? Lower V, lower G. If we cover loop by the time you get to it or not. If not, you can only read one line at a time. One line, not at a time. Every time you run it, one line. So that will read them from, move them up closer to look nicer. Read them from the file. That's what this one does. And this one prints them to the screen. Once you finish with that, I need to close the file. So I got to tell them that input file dot close parentheses, and that's it. That will read from the file. I'm not writing to a file yet, but just to show you. Now, let me save this one and run it. And if I run it, it's not going to work. I am 1000% sure it's not going to work. Probably get a 1 or a 0 there. Let's see. And the reason it's not working is nothing wrong with it. Here we go. Set up a loop. I use the comma, no names, really nothing. It didn't read anything from the file. Why? Let me just minimize this one. The file is being saved right here. See the file? That's the family. The machine doesn't know the file is being saved there. The machine is going to go look for the file where Xcode saves its own stuff. So here we go. This is an important piece. If you're using an Xcode, if you're a Mac user or Xcode, you have to do this. You got to go to Xcode. You got to set up preferences. You got to select locations to see where it's saving everything to. And it says it's saving everything to the default. There's my default. Can you see it? I can't read it really. But it says user, ZN Haddad, and I couldn't tell you what the rest of the stuff is. Some other stuff. I can't. Oh, library, device open, I think, Xcode, derived data. So it's saving it to where it normally saves it. So I gotta tell them where to find the file. So you click on that little arrow there, or this one here. And again, I'm gonna select the derived files or derived data. And notice that's where it's saving it, right there. I said, well, maybe that's not where I want to be. Let me click on these 3 dots here. Or on this one. Go back to the dots here. Oh, how about this column? These 3 columns. Yep, that's where I want to be. Derive data. So double click on that. Tell them where the file is. So this is saved as what? What are we saving this as? That's, again, let's make sure select the Xcode, derived data. January 31st. Is that the one? It has some gibberish stuff after it. January 31st, putting, I don't know, all the extra stuff. Don't worry about the extra stuff. That's today's date. That's where I'm saving it. Go to build. Select product. Select debug. And this is our file. So actually the machine is looking in this folder for that file to read from it. So what I'm going to do here, let me just minimize this for a second. Find my file here, family.txt, click and hold, and drag it and drop it here. And notice there is my family text. I moved it in. It's in the same folder where Xcode is looking for the program. Let's see if it's going to work now. Here's my program. Let me run it now and see if it's going to work. What do you know? Look at this. Haddad, Debbie. Your average is 78. Haddad, Joey. Oh, my name must be high enough. That's why you don't see it. And there's me. But we had to make the changes to the Xcode because it looks somewhere else. If you're using DEV C++, that's a different story. Maybe I'll make the same one on that one. That's much easier. You don't have to do any of the stuff. But for Xcode, you have to tell them where to look for it. Now, let's say I want to write the values to another file. So if you want to write to a file, so this is read from a file. So to write to a file, here we go. Write to file. So I need to tell them I'm going to be using OF stream, that's output file, and give it a name. Whatever name you want to call it. Stream, missing an E. Give it a name. Maybe I'll call it output. Notice I use capital O because just to make sure it's not a reserve. So now I'm going to tell them this is for, let me open the file, output dot open. Let's give the file a name. And we're going to call this file what? Final, and double quotation, final. And I can put .txt or .dat. It really doesn't care. They don't care what name. So if you put .dat, it's going to come out as .dat. So instead of writing this to the screen here, see this one? That's going to write to the screen. So what you're going to write here, put the name of the file, which is what? Output. Send to the output the last name, then put a comma, then the first name, and go the next line. And do it 4 times. So I need to close that file now. You should always close it. If you don't close it, you'll be okay, but every once in a while you end up in trouble there for not closing it. So to be on the safe side, close your file. Now save it. And let's run. Oh, I forgot a semicolon here. Now good, I shouldn't see anything here because my output is not coming to the screen now. My output is going to a file. It's called output. So let's go back to the Xcode. Let's see if we can find that file. I don't know where it saves it. Preferences, hopefully it's the same folder. Go to this one, the default folder. Click on Xcode, derive data, find January 31st. Go to build, go to product, go to debug, and there's the final. See, that's the family, there's the final, and there's the program. Let's open it. You know what, let me drag it to my, no. Can I open it directly here? No, I guess not. Let me see if I can drag this to my desktop. No, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. Let's close it. Xcode, preferences, January 31st, build, product, debug, and that's the final. Let me put the final here. So let's see, it looks like I moved it. Final. I guess it doesn't like data on this machine. So let me just go back and change the program to .txt. Where was it? Oh, Xcode. So instead of .dat, I'll give it the name .txt. I'm limited to what I can do with this machine. So it's going to be a text file. So it's going to open through BBEdit. Okay. Xcode, I should see preferences right there. January 31st, just got to find it. And build, product, debug, and this final. Let me see if I can open it. And there's the final. You can see it. It has Haddad, comma, Z, your average is 50. Haddad, comma, Deborah, your average is 78. Haddad, comma, Joe, your average is 92. Haddad, comma, Jamie, your average is 96. So that's how you read from a file and write into the file using Xcode. Make sure actually, if you are using these, include the program and the code. So if you're attaching, you want to attach all three of them to ship them to me. So I'll stop here. Where's my video?